Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a weird video. I mean, honestly, I don't really have a purpose in making this. This is just something kind of silly that I thought of. If you're confused by the title, I mean, I'm just going to clarify right now, this isn't like a conspiracy video or a theory or complaining at all. I mean, this is just a really silly idea that I thought of just randomly today, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's just, I don't know, I find it interesting. While looking at all this footage and coverage of Breath of the Wild that we got from E3 between Nintendo themselves showing it off for like 3 days straight and all the footage that people got from playing the demo, I just started noticing a couple things that were really interesting. In short, this really doesn't look or feel like a Zelda game, and I know that's the point, but I really specifically mean in a couple different ways. When you combine the fact that the game is really open world, it encourages you to interact with the environment. Enemies are more or less just there to be a quick obstacle, just something to do as you go from place to place. And the fact that the world is really empty, like really empty. I just kind of randomly thought, wow, this is basically a Metroid game, isn't it? I really feel like if you just replaced Link with Samus and just made it a future world, you could basically have the exact same game. I mean, even some of the new abilities really remind me of Metroid games. Like that magnet, that's basically the grapple beam if you expanded the functionality a little bit. That block that rises out of water could easily be a variant of the ice beam. And all the Sheikah monk elder guys that you see in those shrines, those guys are basically Chozo when you really think about it. Like, if you took the upgrade that they give you and had those guys give them to you instead of getting them at the beginning, you would basically have the Chozo statues that you find in, like, Super Metroid and everything. For a really, really long time, basically, like, I think since even before Other M came out, I had this idea of a new Metroid game that could be really interesting, where it's essentially would start off the timeline. The intro to the game would basically be the pirate raid on Samus's homeworld, then the whole Chozo thing, you know, Ridley eats her parents, all that fun stuff. And then the game essentially kicks off with a significantly younger Samus that progresses through training with the Chozo on their homeworld. And I imagine this is how it would really be. Sort of like a halfway point between this and something like Skyrim. Your progression is all mission-based, where you're essentially just given tasks to complete as you go. You know, maybe something like Xenoblade. Yeah, you know what, that's what I'm thinking. Sort of like a Breath of the Wild meets Xenoblade sort of setup. I can easily picture this being that sort of planet that you see in the manga. I think it was sort of deserty, wasn't it? It almost looked sort of like something from Star Wars now that I think about it. That might have been just a product of the time, but who knows. I don't know, just a lot of elements about this new Zelda game, of all things, just make me think so much of Metroid, and it makes me almost wish that it was a Metroid game instead, because, I mean, it's not like we're starved for Zelda or anything. I mean, I'm certainly not going to complain about getting a new game, but we're certainly starved for Metroid, and Federation Force looks good, but I would rather have something a little more traditional. I don't mind spin-offs by any means, I should specify that as well. I mean, one of my favorite games is Hyrule Warriors. Hell, I even like Link's crossbow training. Apparently I'm in a very, very small minority on that one, but that's not the point of this video. It really makes me wish that we had have just gotten some kind of Metroid game on Wii U. I really thought we were going to get one, especially with how much representation the Metroid series got in Smash 4. I mean, between 2 character slots, 3 assist trophies, a boss character, one of only 3 in the game. 4 if you count the one in the 3DS version, right? I wasn't thinking about that, but yeah, Metroid. I want more Metroid. Nintendo, give me that. I want it right now. Give me it. Give me it. NX, at least. Something, anything. You have Project Dread still sitting around, just waiting. You have Metroid 1.5. Prime 1.5. Make that a thing. Who knows? That could be cool. I did a little video about that. I'll put that up on the screen, actually. It's cool. I mean, the video is pretty old at this point, but, you know, it's alright. You could watch that if you wanted to. Okay, enough self-promotion. I think I've talked about this enough. This was really just a silly little idea that I thought of, and yeah, I don't really have a point. It's just an idea.